PETA turned an entire country against it overnight. So, I talked about this briefly the other day. PETA angering a lot of Umamusume fans. Now, right away, I don't play Umamusume. I know some things about it here and there. I've seen some anime clips here and there. I've seen gameplay here and there. I know Rosie is a big Umamusume fan. And I know that it's big, okay? It even won, like, Mobile Game of the Year, didn't it? Yeah, pretty sure it did. Like, I got nothing but respect for it, okay? I just don't play it myself. Because I have sworn to stay away from gacha games. Let's see how long that one lasts. Either way, PETA did a great tweet about Umamusume and it angered everyone. Now, before we get into the video, GamerSub's Christmas sale. If you want to support me while getting something still back in return, like some energy drinks, because I know y'all are gamers, get yourself some tops. You buy a top, you get a gift. You buy two tops, you get 2 gifts, etc. Use code Kitsunero, save 10% off. It supports me directly, especially with YouTube AdSense being disabled right now. You are likely watching this video without any ads on it. Probably. Okay, let's go.
Typically, when you see someone abuse a pet or animal on the internet,
oh God,
then chances are you'll probably see someone in the comments somewhere saying, "Call PETA." In fact, one could even argue that this has been a thing on the internet for as long as we can remember. But what is PETA anyway? Well, it's...
Yeah, call PETA. Well, they all will just put your pets down. Yeah, call PETA.
Stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know that that's what it stands for. That's such a joke. Ethical treatment. Right. Ethical.
What a wonderful name for an organization. Okay, well, what do they fight for? Animal rights? That's awesome.
Awesome!
Well, not quite. Here's how they describe their own mission on their website. Animals are not ours to experiment on, eat, wear, use for entertainment, or abuse in any other way. Okay, kind of extremist, right? The idea that no one's allowed to eat animals, that's definitely interesting, but most people can definitely agree with the other parts. But how is it that an organization...
I mean, if you say wear, like, they... Right, I know it's to show, like, the extremism of PETA, but they don't even want you to wear sheep wool. Which is like, bro, it's good for the sheep that they're being sheared. Bro, sheep need to get sheared. Like, PETA is so dumb.
like this managed to make so many generations of people be aware of its existence. How does it have such a monopoly over the topic of animal rights? Well, it's actually all thanks to their marketing strategy.
What the f is that picture? You wouldn't drink your mom's breast milk now, so why drink a cow's, bro? What the f is that image? What the fuck? What the fuck? Bro, what the fuck?
You see, ever since PETA was created in the 1980s, they knew that people had bigger worries than wondering where animals came from and how they were processed in factories. So to truly get their message across, their strategy has always been to grab headlines by any means necessary. For decades, PETA would be synonymous with ridiculous marketing campaigns.
That is actually
This right here is one of the most famous examples.
A group
of naked women laying in coffins in public saying they'd rather be caught dead than wear animal fur.
That's so dumb. That is beyond dumb. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Shut up!
Things like this became an important part of PETA's DNA, and it would help them spread awareness about their cause and their organization to multiple generations. But that's, of course, until Gen Z came along. A generation that kind of grew up understanding what they were, but by the time they became adults, became so desensitized by the internet that nothing really shocked them anymore. PETA had used the same strategy for decades now, shock and boldness. The problem with this strategy, though, is that over time, for it to remain effective, every campaign you make has to be more shocking than the previous one.
Lord.
And more importantly, the line between bull shock and rage bait is extremely thin. And for years now, PETA has been absolutely clueless about the fact that they had crossed
This. Now I want sushi. Honestly, that looks like great sushi. Yeah. That one actually makes me laugh. Yeah, same. And it definitely is not the intention to make you laugh.
It a while ago. They had essentially gone from very bold marketing campaigns that no one had ever done before to now posting an AI-generated image of a fish.
You think it's AI generated? This could just be Photoshop. I don't think it's AI, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest, I don't get AI vibes from this.
Being cut into sushi, calling it artistic rendering, and being
artistic rendering!
Community noted. That's just plain embarrassing. For years now, this has been PETA's reality. They're nothing more than just rage baiters, and they fail to see that. They've completely lost the plot.
The hand says no knuckles, could just be a fat hand.
And speaking of losing the plot, it turns out that PETA actually enjoys killing animals more than rescuing them. After numerous investigations spanning across multiple years, many have been able to conclude that PETA enjoys killing animals way more than just putting them up for adoption and
crazy, huh?
finding them a new loving home. Why? Because they believe owning a pet dog is slavery. I wish I was kidding. Don't believe me? Well, the founder...
You can't be for real, man. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. Very ethical. Yeah. Very, very ethical.
Of PETA herself said that pet ownership is an abysmal situation and argued in a 2014 interview that outdoor cats should just be killed. It's better for them. By now, and we're still in the intro of this video, you're probably wondering, okay, how the hell does this organization even still exist? And how can it possibly get any worse? Well, recently, PETA decided that killing animals is not enough. They decided to openly tarnish the legacy of a dead animal. And the backlash that they experienced was biblical.
Are we talking about Umamusume
You see,
now?
Silent Suzuka was a Japanese racehorse with an unrivaled legacy. I mean, he was extremely fast and well known globally to anyone who followed horse racing. However, in 1998, his life ended after a tragic injury on the track. What really made Silent Suzuka stand out during that incident, though, is that even though he was in horrendous pain, he didn't flip out, he didn't try to injure his jockey, no. He silently went to the side of the track, dropped off his jockey, and when he was sure that his human rider was safe, proceeded to collapse.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Wait, that's so sad.
Yeah,
I didn't know
one
that.
hell of a horse. Now in
Holy
2021,
hell.
the mobile game Umamusume Pretty Derby would come out in Japan. It would be an anime horse girl racing game, with every one of these anime girls representing a famous Japanese racehorse. This game would prove to be extremely successful in Japan, would release globally in
Not only extremely successful in Japan, bro, it's like extremely successful international. Like, holy shit, man. I don't know. I can totally see why, bro. I just don't play gachas.
2025 and would make billions of dollars. And one of the horses that was immortalized as an anime horse girl was none other than Silent Suzuka. In fact, Umamusume would even have an anime and Silent Suzuka would make an appearance there too. So as you can see, this was a very well beloved and very well respected horse to this day. So what the hell could have PETA possibly done to create a worldwide backlash? Did they pay their respects to this wonderful animal that showed incredible compassion to humans in its final moments?
There's an anime? There's multiple anime.
Of course not. They instead would
Sorry, and they're apparently really good too.
Post a disgusting image of the anime horse girl version of Silent Suzuka.
Yeah, this shows her bone, by the way. This shows bone. Like, Jesus, man. If Umamusume Pretty Derby were honest, your favorite horse girl doesn't get a comeback arc. One failed event and the race is over forever, just like what happened to the real Silent Suzuka. That's literally not what happened, but okay. In real life, the horse Silent Suzuka suffered a catastrophic injury in a race and was euthanized. Yeah. Wow. Way to, boil it down to one sentence. PETA angered the Umamusume fans. It's over for them. I hope Umamusume sues them. Because 100% Mujin is gonna talk about it, right? But 100%, they went against the terms of services.
with a
And you'll see
grotesque
why.
leg injury where you can see the bone protrude outside of the skin, arguing that if the game was honest, your favorite horse girl wouldn't get any comeback arcs. One failed event and the race is over, just like what happened to the real Silence Suzuka. Now look, PETA had been fucking around.
Bro, Pokemon. What the fuck, man? Gotta free 'em all. Like, you're so not for real, man. Cooking mama and mama kills animals!
For years and had faced barely any consequences.
Oh yeah,
this
it's
time
Rima.
though, they fucked around and they found out. Because not only did this post get viewed 16.4 million times, not only are there 11,000 replies completely shitting on their entire existence, not only did this post get community noted, but it even prompted a Japanese politician to speak out
I didn't
on
see
this
that.
disgusting behavior,
Oh
as
my
well
God.
as the owner of Silence Suzuka.
Oh boy, it's over. It's so over. Fuck PETA.
Guys, this was probably one of the worst things PETA could have ever done
Oh
to their
boy.
reputation. More and more people are looking into the fact that they're killing more animals than they're saving, with Japanese people in particular finding out the true nature of this company rather than thinking that they actually fight for animal rights. And unlike their usual rage bait, this time there were many people that destroyed the hell out of PETA
Sorry,
with
me, not
facts
you.
and logic. Actual real arguments that show that Umamusume Pretty Derby did a million times more than PETA could ever hope to achieve. It was hilarious seeing.
Bro, yeah, like, a lot of, like, Umamusume players just donated for... Which horse was it? For one of the horses to get, like, a lot of, like, fresh grass or something? Wasn't that Haru? And didn't Haru, like, pass recently, too? Yeah, Haru Urara. Yeah, that one. Didn't Haru Urara pass, too? I'm not sure anymore. Like, lots of people. Lots of horsies. Poor horsies, man. Yeah, Haru passed? Yeah. Yeah, alright. Yeah, I remember that correctly then. Don't remember. I'm sorry, bro. The only one that I know more about is Goldship, because Goldship was such a shitpost. I love him.
This disgusting organization get pummeled to oblivion, and so that's why I thought I had to make a video about this. So you already know the drill. Let's
go.
All right, so look, as I mentioned in the intro,
the fuck?
PETA gained prominence, or I should say relevancy, due to
If dog tasted like pork, would you eat them? What's the difference? Oh my fucking god. Bro, I know at least one person that would say yes. And that's Asman. He doesn't give a shit. Bro, what the fuck is this image, man?
shocking and bold marketing campaigns like this one right here. If dogs tasted like pork, would you eat them? What's the difference? Go vegan, showing the image of a dog with a pig's head. By PETA's own standards though, this was definitely soft. You see, one of the first instances of extremely shocking yet somewhat bold marketing campaigns was as far back as 1991.
What is this headline, bro?
Back then, one of America's most infamous serial killers, Jeffrey Dahmer, was captured. Jeffrey was someone who had captured 17 males and, well, got rid of their limbs. He would then place them in the fridge and eat them later, because guess what? The guy was a cannibal. What would PETA do? Well, they'd publish a newspaper advertisement pretty much likening meat packers to being exactly like Jeffrey Dahmer, someone who killed 17 human beings. Now today, if this happened, no one would really care, but back then, people cared a lot. This caused unprecedented commotion, and it was exactly what PETA wanted. From their point of view, their mission is to get animal rights messages out to as many people as possible, which is why they—
Oh yeah, it's any— well, what is it? Any attention is good attention kind of thing.
They try to make their actions colorful and controversial.
Right.
Colorful is a very interesting word. All in the hopes of grabbing as many headlines around the world and spreading the message of kindness to animals to thousands, sometimes millions of people. They would then gloat that this approach has proved to be amazingly successful, and you know what? To their credit, initially it was. For the first 2 decades after PETA was established, they would spread awareness over some extremely inhumane conditions that many animals faced in different areas, whether it be factories, farms, or hell, even government agencies. The outrage following these investigations would help new laws be put in place. Laws that would either help animals get treated better or straight up shut down certain labs or agencies that would mistreat them. However, not all good things last forever, and at some point, PETA would lose the plot entirely. In fact, after my research, I can personally conclude that they had officially lost the plot by 2003, when they would release their newest marketing campaign.
What? 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 Bro, what? What?
An exhibition titled Holocaust on a Plate. And
What?
yes, it is as horrible as it sounds. In fact, here's a sign that you would find at this exhibition. On the left, you would see a Holocaust victim that went through famine, and on the right, you would see a cow that went through famine. I don't think it would take a genius to understand that Jews back then were extremely angered by such a marketing campaign, likening the suffering of so many people in World War II to the idea of eating meat. I mean, come on. And at a certain point, this would just get old. People wouldn't take them as seriously anymore.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Around almost a decade later in 2014, PETA would release a marketing campaign in which they say that dog breeders are literally the Austrian painter, releasing a poster of a dog with the infamous, well, mustache. And if you thought that wasn't bad enough, on the same year, if you went to PETA's website, you'd be greeted with, got autism? Studies have shown a link between cow's milk and autism.
What studies? Bro, there's a study on anything nowadays, bro. But like, bro, give me some more of that milk, bro. Their studies, yeah, sure.
Now, this confused the hell out of people, and it could mean one of two things. The first possibility is them saying that cow's milk causes autism, which is extremely incorrect. There's nothing in any way, shape, or form proving that. And the second possibility is them saying that only autistic people drink cow's milk, which I don't need to sit here and tell you sounds really bad.
Oh my god. Whenever you think it doesn't get worse, it just keeps getting worse.
Pretty much saying that there's something very wrong with autistic people, which isn't the case. They're just people. You see what I meant in the intro? Once you make shocking statements, the only way to keep people's attention is to somehow make a shocking statement more shocking every single time. But with the line between shocking and rage bait being so thin, yeah, it's no surprise by this point people thought PETA was a joke. Their stupid antics were starting to alienate vegans from wanting to support them. That was their target audience. I mean, mid-pandemic in 2020, when people were wrestling with the fact that they had to be isolated for God knows how long, PETA comes out and says, oh, hey, yeah, this happened because of you meat eaters. Tofu never caused the pandemic. Dude, shut the fuck up. Now, yes, this stupid attempt at rage bait.
How does PETA still exist? With all this, man, how do they have a funding?
Is definitely funny. And while I'd love to just sit here and laugh, unfortunately, when it comes to PETA, their existence is actually a problem, especially if you like animals. You see, this organization is nothing more than just a group of extremists. In 2017, two PETA employees would kidnap a 9-year-old's chihuahua. They assumed that it was a stray that needed to be euthanized because, of course, they hate the idea of putting up a dog for adoption. However, state laws say that they have to hold the pet for 5 days to make sure there's no owner that, well, will come and claim it. They chose to ignore that rule and euthanize this poor chihuahua within the same day. The family ended up suing the organization, and PETA paid them $49,000 to settle. But that poor girl is probably traumatized for life. But I wish that was the worst thing they'd done. In 2005, 2 years after their completely tone-deaf Holocaust marketing campaign, some people would start noticing that the dumpsters behind a supermarket in North Carolina was filled with dead animals, specifically cats and dogs. Well, it turned out it was none other than PETA. The two employees in question would be acquiring these pets by lying to veterinarians, telling them they're going to put them up for adoption, and then just euthanizing them in the same day in the back of their van. The veterinarian who had given these pets to...
Now, I heard of PETA doing that, but it being just laid out in front of me like that is like... actually just shocking, man. Holy shit.
PETA, thinking they would get adopted, would later say they were in good health and were very adoptable, especially the kittens. It was tragic, and yet PETA was able to get away with this because of a stupid law in the US that says that PETA and other shelters are allowed to kill owner-relinquished animals for virtually any reason at any time without any effort to find them homes. But
I think, you know, violence isn't always the right answer, but you know, sometimes, just sometimes, you know, sometimes John Wick is right. Sometimes John Wick is right.
Of course, politicians don't care about actual important matters like this. And finally, if you want something a bit more recent to truly show you how disgusting PETA is, then look no further. This was a study published in February 4th, 2025, examining the rate of death of animals in PETA shelters in the year of 2024. Now, PETA is established in the state of Virginia. The average rate of euthanasia for all agencies in Virginia is 10%. That means that 90% of their animals find a new home. They successfully get adopted, with 10% being euthanized, which is reasonable. Some cats or dogs they might find on the street might have a very bad disease, they could be on their last legs, and giving them euthanasia is the most humane thing to do, that way they don't squirm in pain for the rest of their lives. PETA, on the other hand, euthanizes 64% of their dogs, 69% of their cats, and 67% of all animals.
I don't know how they're allowed to still exist. This is awful. What the I didn't know how bad it was. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know how bad.
In general, that are held in their shelters. Think about this for a second. Only 30% somehow find a new home. The majority find themselves dead. Does that seem like an organization that likes animals to you? I mean, look at this. In 2014, they euthanized 96% of their cats. Very interesting, right? Especially seeing that the founder of PETA has already expressed the fact that stray cats shouldn't exist. In other words, they should all be killed. I mean, I just find this so disgusting, but also so fascinating. PETA always likes to ignore the fact that humans and animals are fundamentally different, which is why we shouldn't eat them. Does that mean we should euthanize 69% of children that are currently in shelters waiting to be adopted by a family? I wonder what this failure of an organization would say.
According to PETA! Oh my god, man. Oh my god.
Oh wait, I actually know exactly what they would say. One look at their social media in 2025 and the only thing you'll find is rage bait. That's what they still thrive on. They want views, they want relevancy at any cost, no matter how stupid they might look in the public's eyes. And it's that same exact philosophy that made them fuck around and find out when it came to one of the most loyal communities on the internet. And it resulted in them wiping the floor with PETA's pathetic ass. This all brings us back to the game Umamusume Pretty Derby. Available both on PC and mobile, it pretty much took over the world this year. In fact, if you were able to catch the Game Awards recently, then you would have seen that it actually won Best Mobile Game. The same company behind that very successful game that's generated billions of dollars to date is also behind its extremely successful anime series. All the horse girls in the anime and the game are actually based off their real-life counterparts. This was only possible to do after getting direct approval from each one of their owners. But that's not all, of course. They weren't just able to make an awesome game, some great anime, and respect the medium. Horse racing has been a dying sport for years now, and they were able to revitalize the entire industry.
Doesn't Leaflet bet on horse racing now? I mean, Leaflet. Who the fuck is Leaflet, you know? Yeah, she's doing something with horse racing. No, I don't know exactly.
By bringing in
she owns stocks and horses. All right, that's what it was.
Such a huge amount of young people that are now interested in it thanks to the game
who the hell is
and
Leaflet?
Anime. In fact, the developer, Psy Games, wouldn't just support horse racing directly by sponsoring multiple events, they would also make it a point to support retired racehorses, making sure that they're not neglected and encouraging fans to donate to them. In fact, ever since Umamusume Pretty Derby had come out in Japan and then eventually came out globally, the Retired Horse Association of Japan, who takes care of all retired racehorses, has seen a massive surge in donations. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, I just saw a post about that like yesterday, that a lot of donations came in for that. That's amazing, man. But hey, PETA, am I right?
They created a fundraiser back in October to create a memorial for multiple retired horses that had passed away recently, and they were able to raise 6.3.
Bro, Umamusume did like 1,000,000 times more for animal wealth than f***ing PETA ever did. Like, what the f***, man? They really choose a losing battle. They really choose some, like, They're digging their own grave with this one.
Million yen out of their 10 million yen goal. Before Umamusume, people didn't really care that much about retired horses. Now they do. Isn't that awesome? Now with all this info in mind, and this is me barely scraping the
Yeah, they chose the
surface,
wrong
by
enemy.
the way, how much worse does this post from PETA actually sound now? Going after a developer and a game that has done more for horses than they could ever even conceive. I mean, what a desperate cry for attention. The replies would of course immediately point this out, like this one that ratioed the original post by like 5 times, saying Umamusume does more to the welfare of the horses it honors than misleading and self-serving posts like this do better or be quiet. I mean, not a single one of these 11,000 replies were positive. They were just shitting on PETA's entire existence. The audacity for an organization that euthanizes 70% of its animals to talk about euthanasia is wild. Just so you know, this was a severe leg injury that Silent Suzuka experienced on the racetrack. Once that happens to a horse, they are guaranteed to die a slow and painful death. Euthanasia here was actually, unlike PETA's shelters, humane.
Yeah, that's usually how it is with horses. I think that's actually common knowledge. Like, and then PETA's still trying to like spin it on a way like that. What the fuck, man?
But they've lost the plot since 2003. Reasoning with them is pointless. But people decided to quote tweet them anyway because why not? They're clowns, they deserve it. This person would say the irony is that Umamusume itself is responsible for the increase of the Retired Horse Racing Association's donations and care for the animals. Just this year, between Versailles Farm, Northern Farm, and Nice Nature, which are 3 different horses, they raised over $1 million combined, spread purely by the fans' love of the horses. Here we can see a chart of Nice Nature's birthday donation trends, and as you can see, there is a massive uptick in donations after Umamusume Pretty Derby had come out. I mean, it would go from 1 million.
That was only in Japan. What the?
700,000 yen to 35 million after the game had come out. That's a multiplication of almost 35 times, and it kept rising higher and higher, reaching 74 million in 2024. But yeah, let's make a disgusting drawing instead, criticizing the game instead of helping. I mean, PETA has no idea just how much Japanese people in general, including the voice actress of Silent Suzuka herself, hold respect for these horses. In an interview, she was literally crying over Silent Suzuka's memory, wondering if she could properly convey the spirit of this legendary horse. Do PETA employees cry when they euthanize 70% of their animals for no reason? That's a rhetorical question. And then, of course, comes the very embarrassing community note that came in different languages. This is the Japanese one. It would say, "This is hate speech." Might be a bit of a rough translation. Anyway, although the game Umamusume Pretty Derby is in no way opposed to PETA's philosophy of establishing and defending animal rights, this post provokes those involved with the game. Reference about PETA. So that link is meant to show you that PETA's philosophy is to stand against anyone opposed to animal rights. Cool. Then it goes on to say, this post violates the guidelines of Umamusume Pretty Derby by denigrating the honor and rights of others, making it an antisocial post that does not follow the rules, like guidelines for derivative works of Umamusume Pretty Derby. So here we get linked to the website of Umamusume, outlining their terms of service for fan works. In a nutshell, you can create fan art, you can create fan merch, you can do all those things, but
this is the one where it says no, not safe for work on it. Pretty sure. Right?
They cannot be political, they cannot be sexual, and they sure as hell cannot be gory or disturbing. That's exactly what PETA was doing. And finally, the community note would say, provocative posts intended to attract attention also have an aspect of spam and therefore violate X's terms of service. This also would be echoed by the community note in English, saying Cygames guidelines strictly prohibit violent or grotesque depictions of Umamusume characters to respect the real horses. Using the IP for political advocacy or commercial gain is a direct violation of their derivative work guidelines. So seeing this, Twitter was...
I've seen this image, bro. Perfect. PETA, I got you a Valentine's Day gift. What is it? A lawsuit. Boom. Amazing. I love gold ship.
Overjoyed, begging Cygames to sue the ever-living shit out of PETA.
Please.
Saying that there's approximately 5 different violations of Umamusume community guidelines and actual grounds for a hefty lawsuit. I think it was safe to say at this point that no one was siding with PETA. But we're not just talking about the English-speaking audience here. This travesty had reached Japan, and the damage to their image there became catastrophic. A Japanese politician by the name of Kurishita Zenko, who used to be a part of the Japanese Metropolitan Assembly, would catch wind of this, and he would have something to say. It would be in Japanese, so here's the translation. He'd say, PETA, the world's largest animal rights organization, has suddenly made the following post using illustrations from Umamusume, sparking controversy. It already has a community note attached, stating it violates content guidelines, but we must re-recognize that just because it's a massive international organization doesn't necessarily mean it's fair, in reference to following the rules. He'd then reply to his own post, continuing, saying, PETA's incoherent accusations against Nintendo are still—
Hey Nintendo, let cow race free, remove her nose ring. Right, oh my god, bro. Oh my god, bro. Jeez, it's... I don't even, bro. Just shut up.
It almost
just
feels
shut
like
up,
they're
bro.
targeting
Just
Japanese
shut
content.
up.
Surely there are other things they should
Oh
be
my
doing to
God.
protect animals. He would continue further, referencing the article about the pet chihuahua we just saw earlier, saying, thank you for the information. I couldn't believe my eyes. Not many people in Japan know what kind of organization PETA is, so we should take this opportunity to spread the word.
Yeah!
See how much damage this did? Look, this philosophy of bad publicity is always good publicity? No. Japan was under the impression that PETA actually stood for animal rights. Now they're finding out what kind of organization they truly are. In other words, they fucked around and they found out. But the finding out part wasn't over just yet. That's because out of nowhere, the owner of the late silent Suzuka would say, in a quote tweet, straight up, go to hell, you shitty organization.
Yo!
This would get 3 million views, 75,000 likes. I mean, straight up full support for this guy. And he's totally right. Someone replied to the owner's post saying, I remember Suzuka's fracture being a comminuted fracture where the broken bones didn't protrude out. Not an open fracture like in that organization's picture where the bone is visible from the outside. But was I wrong? The owner would say, that's right. In other words, PETA was straight up lying. That's not how the fracture looked. Am I surprised? No. Someone else would reply with, is this the group that was saying about Mario Kart's cow putting a nose ring on it as a symbol of livestock? This was in reference to what the politician had said earlier, that they had tried to go after Nintendo for this Mario Kart character. Like, how ridiculous is this? Their marketing campaign said, let cow race.
Bro, I'ma boot up Mario Kart after this and play as the cow. The cow's my favorite character, like, not gonna lie. Best character there is, 10 out of 10, love the cow.
Free, remove her nose ring. Like, surely there must be more important things to do. A few days later, the owner of the late silent Suzuka would quote tweet the tweet we just saw where he called PETA a shitty organization and say, the resentful voices from all over the world against that shitty organization group are intense. Seriously, what the hell did they do to get hated this much? Lol. Well, the Japanese people are slowly finding out, aren't they? In fact, my favorite tweet in all this, okay, was this guy going back to that dog AI-generated image of a fish being turned into sushi, quote tweeting it and saying, it's honestly hilarious how the obese fast food nation that's all about burgers is nitpicking Japanese sushi.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy shit! Holy damn! Bro, he cooked them? Holy shit! America catching strays, PETA's originally British. I don't think that matters anymore because the main, like the biggest PETA organization is now in America. I don't think it matters where they originally established. Really
PETA wasn't just ruining their reputation worldwide, they were also ruining the American reputation worldwide. Not that it was very good to begin with, but still, it's not like they need more negative shit. Overall, this whole thing was an absolute mess.
Umamusume fans coming together as a community as soon as PETA steps in and it's the fucking Jujutsu Kaisen fight, man. Oh my god.
Overall, this whole thing was an absolute mess. And it only served to make it known that PETA is terrible. Now everyone is starting to get aware of this. This was one of the worst decisions the social media team of PETA could have taken. And now people are simply begging Cygames to sue the ever-living shit out of them. I usually try to stay neutral in my videos, but dude, even I'm hoping that happens, okay? I truly want to see that. That would be so cool. Anyway, thank you so much for watching until the end. If you're interested in the entire history of Umamusume Pretty Derby and how it came to be, as well as how it helped to revitalize the entire horse racing industry, then make sure to check out the video I made about it a few months ago called The Chaotic History of the Horse Game That Took Over the World. And if you want to get a healthy alternative to an energy drink for this Christmas, then make sure to hit the game.
Yeah, Christmas. I have the picture. Christmas! Whee!
subs and use the code Mujin for 10% off your total order. It helps me directly, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the product. Thank you so much again for watching the video.
I'm messaging him. I'm messaging him. What the f is this? Where is he? Mujin. Bro. My eyes just got violated. What the f is this?
Platonically until the end, and I'll see you in the next one whenever that is. I love you so much. Mwah.
What the f is this? Oh my god, man. The feed, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm on about. I'm on about the feed. That's what I'm on about. This is an epic emoji. Don't care what you'll think. Oh my god, man. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Christmas gamer sub sale live right now. As long as supplies last. Code Kitsunero, code Mujin, or whatever it was. I don't remember. I don't even remember my own code. Okay. Okay, cool. Bye.